Welcome back to episode 3 of Penny Pinchin' Mom and versus Crunchy Mom. Apparently, this week she is in her original package, where I am more of a scratch and dent open box model. You know, it is what it is. It's the week before Thanksgiving. It is stressful. It is, I don't know, is there like a super moon going on? Like, oh, what a
A
week.
super moon, but we got an extra moon.
What?
Yeah.
We
So we
borrowed
have a
one?
little. I did. I borrowed it from the neighbor, like a cup of sugar. It's a satellite that entered our orbit. It's in our atmosphere, and it's just gonna go boop 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 for around 60 days, and 59, I think exactly, and then off it pops, just back out in the wee. It just gravity sends it off into the universe again.
Okay. So this is disturbing because apparently, um, my Google news feed should tell me relevant information like this, and it only shows me food news. And so I feel
Yeah,
like,
the extra.
has there been any other major news stories in the last couple of weeks I may have missed?
No extra, no auroras or anything. No, I think we're
Okay.
good. Just the extra moon.
Well, we are on a mission to have happy news this week. No more
Yay!
conspiracy theories and craziness and
At least
making
until after Thanksgiving.
until after Thanksgiving. Yeah. Because I just cannot take any more like feeling tricked at the grocery store. Okay, then.
Feel you.
So
Let's go.
let's see what kind of happy news we're going to talk about. So the first one is HelloFresh is offering Rachel's famous Thanksgiving side dish from Friends. If you're not a 90s baby like we are, you may remember this episode or not, but basically, Rachel Green made a mashup of shepherd's pie and a classic English trifle all in one dish that I believe Joey said smelled like feet, but he still ate it.
Yep. It was a mash of shepherd's pie being ground beef and mashed potatoes and peas, I think carrots, and then a trifle, which is this custard delightful and just
Like
smoosh them
cakey.
together. That sounds,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds, separately they
It
sound
does smell,
delightful.
it does
Together it
sound like it
sounds
would
like,
smell like feet, but
yes.
separately, they would be awesome. But what's actually very cool about this promotion, because not only is it like pulling at the heartstrings of like a very memorable Thanksgiving episode, but
Yeah.
it's priced at $34.99. It includes free shipping, all the food to serve 6 people, this trifle, of course, the recipe cards, but it includes a Friends themed apron and a special trifle dish for $35. That is not bad. Like,
No, not at all.
the only thing that I'm a little upset about is this was an extremely limited time because you could only order it from November 4th to November 7th because they had to, have enough time to make sure it would be delivered in time for Thanksgiving. But I'm guessing they probably only advertise this to like their, mega return customers, the loyal followers, because I imagine this thing sold out. Like
Yeah,
seriously sold.
I would have thought the same thing too. Like if I could get my hands on one of those aprons,
Out.
I would be down for sure. Like I just see it as a green. It's that specific green. I don't know if it says like the
Almost
Central
like the
Perk or
Central
whatever.
Perk. Yeah, that's what I was
Yes.
thinking. Like either the Friends logo or the Central Perk logo.
Yep,
But it's
exactly.
funny. I keep seeing a lot of this like whole nostalgic for the 90s thing, and that's fine. But I imagine that if this goes well, like if they get a lot of people saying how much they enjoyed this kit, that I imagine that this will be like a yearly thing because it's very clever.
Yeah.
And
Or a lot of times there's like recipes that come out of shows, and recreating those moments from other different television shows too, I think would be smart. Nothing comes to
it's
mind,
very
oddly enough, but I know they exist. There's moments like that are similar to this one that would be like, oh, that'd be so cool to kind of like be able to live that out.
And that's true because there are certain shows that have like meals or dishes that are very much associated with them. Now I'm going to have to go down the rabbit hole and look those up. But I do find it interesting that it has this little special trifle dish with like a divider. So that way it's like hermetically sealed off. Like your shepherd's pie is not going to mix with your trifle. Because yeah. I
Custard
mean,
and
I'm
ground
not one of
beef
those
is a
people
no-go.
that can't keep, stuff can touch a little on my plate, but not like that. No, 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 no.
Yeah, I'm not trying to have my turkey and my pumpkin pie be friends. That's a nope.
Well, my husband always says it all ends up in the same place anyway, so he doesn't care. But I just can't. No, no. I'm not like insanely OCD. Like, there are times that I wish I had like a divided plate, like when you're
Yeah.
eating like a hot dog and like baked beans, and you don't want the beans to make your hot dog all soggy. But for most cases, if it touches, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. You just don't want
Okay.
them fully
So
intermingled.
I will be keeping an eye out on social media because I want to see what this trifle slash um, shepherd's pie trifle thing looks like. Because for 35
Yes.
bucks, I'm imagining it's not glass. I'm imagining it's plastic. But I if you were a huge Friends fan or even a fanatic, you would definitely buy
Yeah.
this.
My only
Or maybe
concern
it'll be on
is,
Temu for Christmas.
ugh, I don't like
Everything
that.
ends up on Temu.
I hate Timu. That's it. Anyways, my only
Okay.
qualm with that was with the dish is trifle is typically cold and shepherd's pie is
Shepherd's pie
warm.
is hot. I how did I not think about that? And then
I don't know. It just dawned on me.
you had said something earlier about Friendsgiving, and I totally missed it because yeah,
Yeah, that's
oh,
ingrained in our society now.
it really is. So okay, second story, and I was so excited to read this. Like
So,
I may have danced a little after I read this. Okay, because I mean your daughter, she's double digits. She's dang near grown. She's oh
how dare you?
I know. No, but I mean like you're still hands-on mom, I get that. But like you're no longer like begging and pleading her to eat just one chicken nugget.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. There's still some battles, but like she's a pretty adventurous eater as far as like kids go. She likes goat cheese. So
All
I
right. So
think
the second news story is that your picky eater kid is not your fault. Okay? So, according to new research published in September in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry, food fussiness, or the tendency to eat a small range of foods due to pickiness or reluctance to try new foods, is far more likely to be influenced by genetics than it is to be influenced by environment, aka parenting style. Okay?
Yep.
Now, there are many, many great debates on Facebook. Picky Eaters is not a great debate on Facebook,
No.
simply for the fact that you have old school that believes that you eat what you eat and you don't pitch a fit, or you go, you starve to death. And the others
Right.
that go so far to where they will, be like a short order cook to make sure that everybody
Yeah.
gets fed. Like there's I try to aim for middle ground,
Yeah.
but
Same.
this just makes me feel so much better that this study found that it's more likely to be genetic than it is to be parenting style.
Yeah. And like it's not fully isolated one way or the other, but that so they studied identical twins and it was such a long period of time, which is kind of nuts. It's like 2,400 sets of twins starting at the age of like 16 months all the way up to 13 years. And they kind of wanted to see what it looked like as far as like nature versus nurture goes. And so they specifically wanted both identical twins who share 100% of the same genetic material and non identical twins who did not. So they could compare and contrast, which is really kind of cool. And they found that pickiness appears to peak at 7 years old, which makes complete sense. Like when I think about my kid at 7, like she was probably the most reluctant at that age, I think. And then it declines slightly as they reach adolescence. So it found that identical twins are more likely to have similar picky eating patterns
That
and
would make
points to
sense.
a strong genetic component. Yeah.
Huh.
It's,
That, I mean, honestly, that totally makes sense. Um, my son actually, he hit his peak, I think, around 5, and we're getting better now.
okay.
My daughter has never been picky about food at all, which is kind of sad because she has swallowing issues. So she already
Yeah.
has enough hurdles when it comes to food. The actual food is not the hurdle itself because she will literally try anything. My son, if you tell him it is any form of meat, he doesn't want it.
Huh.
Like it is bizarre. Like, because I'll ask him, I'm like, hey, you want chicken? You want pork? You want shrimp? No, no meat. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Just
wow. There's,
like there's no safe meat. Occasionally, I can get him by saying it's hamburger or the same as hamburger, but
yeah.
it's yeah. So, and occasionally I can get him eat pepperoni, but
I mean,
you know, it's funny though because when he was like a baby, he loved refried beans. You would
yeah.
have thought that this was ice cream to him because he would actually pick refried beans over ice cream. Because
That's
when we
funny.
went to like a Mexican restaurant or anything, I would end up feeding this boy like an entire ramekin full of refried beans when he was like 9 months old. And
Yeah.
now he is still on a bean strike. Every time I give him any food whatsoever, it could be a salad, okay? He will ask me if
Yeah.
it has beans in it. Just because
Amusing.
I have overbeaned him.
Yeah. Kiddo definitely. So her favorite when she was little was sweet potatoes. Could not get enough sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes hung the entire moon for this child. And then, I don't know, somewhere around 3, she has not touched a sweet potato since. Uh, I can't tell you the last time there was a sweet potato in the house.
Not even Thanksgiving?
Nah, yes, but there's marshmallows involved, and
See,
nuts
that's
and
where you
stupid. That
lose
doesn't
me.
count.
It is not dessert. You do not put marshmallows on sweet potatoes. I'm sorry. Ah,
They're the
okay.
best.
Hmm.
We make we make one with and one without, but that's besides the point. Just
Okay.
let me
But
have my
I do
dessert.
like the fact that this study, um, the findings are basically helping to alleviate parental blame. And because honestly, it can be a major source of anxiety for parents and caregivers because, and especially when your kids don't like things that you love.
Yeah.
I mean, I I love all vegetables minus lima beans and black eyed peas. And so when my kids, won't even try a vegetable, it's like breaking my heart. Like they somehow think Brussels sprouts are like little devil eggs. I mean, they are gooey,
Well, like
yummy balls of butter. What's not to love?
I like mine roasted, but that's besides the point. But like I was talking about this earlier, like how we kind of have like I don't know food trauma when it comes to
Hmm.
certain things because like for me up until like late 20s, I think I hated Brussels sprouts. Like I had Brussels sprouts when I was 7 and I was forced to eat them.
Ah.
And I didn't voluntarily choose to eat a Brussels sprout until my 20s. My best friend's the same way. Like she was force fed Brussels sprouts weekly. I still can't talk her into trying one, even though I make some bomb ass Brussels sprouts. But like she refuses because of it's essentially like food trauma. So
Okay, but see,
us
what kills me is that it's always related to Brussels sprouts because I have actually gotten a what do you call it, a DM, like a private message,
yeah.
where this poor parent messaged me and was like, "How can I get my kids to eat Brussels sprouts?" And I said, "Well, do you like Brussels sprouts?" And they said no. And I said, well, if you don't like them, how are you going to convince your kids? It's just not possible.
Yeah.
I said, the number one way to get your kid to eat a vegetable is to watch you eat it. And you would have thought, like, I told her to chop off her head. Like, I'm sure it landed like a lead balloon. But I love vegetables, but I'm not like force feeding my kids vegetables. I actually give them choices. So when it's time to pick a vegetable, I'll pick a kid and I'll be like, here's your choices between A and B, pick one, and they go, I don't like taking my kids to the grocery store because they're in the, oh, we went to a store, it's time to buy a toy phase. And we don't play that. So, but we do play name that vegetable, because I think that a lot of kids don't recognize vegetables. I work with a preschool, and I can tell you that the majority of children ages 4 to 6, they don't know what all the vegetables are. Okay. Right. And I don't necessarily know if it's just I don't know if it's like they just eat them, but like their parents aren't telling them what it is. But I could show somebody a potato and then show somebody a French fry, and they wouldn't connect that those two are the same vegetable.
No, that makes sense.
Makes
sense. And so, and then a lot of times they don't necessarily see things in their, that being that you don't see it go from potato to French fry. So like knowing that those two things are separate. And then when things come in the can, like peas, nobody, like I imagine a lot of people don't know what like peas look like when they're grown, because they're not like tiny little berries. They're in a shell. So like, that's an interesting thought process.
It's so funny you said that, because I have a friend who, he grows tropical trees in his backyard. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he sent me a picture of this banana tree. Okay. Yeah. And at first glance, I thought the tree was upside down. Like I thought he took the picture, you know what I mean? Like with his phone upside down, because I just assumed that bananas grow like this.
Right.
They do not.
No. So it's crazy. And pineapples too.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the pineapple ones, but you know what I mean? It was just, so I get it. And like, I recently showed my kids, what a kiwi looks like, because they've always seen kiwi on their plates and it's bright green and da-da-da. And so I had them touch the outside of a kiwi, and they were like, I don't want that. I mean, there was lots of hairy ball jokes, unfortunately, but and then I cut it open and I showed them, and then they were like, oh my God. So now, we talk badly about food, but okay. So I got to go on to the next story before this goes really bad, because I can't believe I said all that. So, oh, I'm going to turn bright red. This is bad.
Oh, man. Okay.
So,
see, the things we do for our kids to connect and like, learn and really engage with what they're doing. It doesn't have to be this like, it can be weird and fun. It helps.
So I have determined that I will do anything to either get my kids to laugh, because if you can get them to laugh, they're listening and they will engage. Okay. And in a room full of parents, I openly admitted that the way I get my kids to brush their teeth for 2 minutes is I told them that hearing the brushing of toothbrushing makes my booty shake. Are you going to spit that out? And I'm telling you, the laughter that erupted from the room, I almost for a second, died. And then I realized that all these parents, I could see little light bulbs going off under their heads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just try it, because you can hear the sound of a toothbrush when it's being worked. And I'll be like,
yeah.
And it makes them
I,
laugh and
I,
it makes them want to do it longer. And now it's not difficult to make my kids brush their teeth for 2 minutes. So I have no
right.
shame when it comes to manipulating my kids. Okay.
I mean, but there are worse manipulations. Like this is something that engages them, that makes memories, that
Right.
that they'll think
That
about when they're
someday they will
40s
be
and be
like,
like, "Where's
my
my mom
mom.
shaking her butt?"
Exactly. I every morning made my mom shake her butt by brushing my teeth. I can only imagine what they tell their teachers. I can only imagine the next parent teacher conference. You know what? But hey,
It's gonna be a
you do
good
what you
time.
got to do. I have no
I
shame.
love it.
None.
Good.
Okay. So this is a happy story, but odd. Okay. It's
Yeah.
kind of a, if you've been on the Lodo family Facebook page, you have seen this. Lifeway is a company that makes kefir, which is like drinkable yogurt. They've been around for a long time. I want to say since the 60s.
That
It's a
sounds right.
company that immigrated, the family immigrated, I believe, from Ukraine, and they brought with them this product that was available in Europe, but not available in the US. And they have since built like this kefir empire. Okay. Now, along the way, I'm going to totally murder this, but Danone, which is the French company that owns Dannon yogurt, as us Americans would know, has been basically buying up stock in Lifeway for the last 20 years. They actually own about 24%. And a few months back in September, Danone offered to buy Lifeway. Now, Lifeway didn't put themselves on the market, so this was a completely unsolicited offer. And they offered $284 million dollars, and Lifeway declined. They said, no thanks, not interested. Oh, by the way, you undervalued our company. So then a month goes by, and now Danone has upped its offer again to now $300 million dollars. And it was kind of funny because when Lifeway originally said that they were not interested, they made clear to say that unless Danone tries for a hostile takeover. And it really led me down like the whole rabbit hole about what exactly a hostile takeover is. And it's basically when one
Right.
company goes behind the other company's back to all the shareholders to try to get them to vote a certain way, which these are like backroom deals and they're usually looked at as not moral or ethical.
Yeah.
And Lifeway has since implemented a plan where Daniel can't buy more stock because that way they would just be buying up shareholder power. So
Right.
I, I can't help it. I'm totally rooting for Lifeway. Like I'm not an active customer. I bought Lifeway products in the past, but right before we got on today, I double checked it, and sure enough, Lifeway has declined the second offer. So as of right now, Lifeway is still a family independent company. But oh my gosh, I am with all these like buyouts and mergers and stuff. I am so rooting for Lifeway to stay as Lifeway independently owned.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think when smaller companies get bought up by larger corporations, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the company, but I do think it changes the culture internally because, there's a, when you have a change at the top, it's going to change how people interact with each other. And like when you change your budgets and you change like just little things that eventually eats away at the core culture of your company. And the culture is your people, and your people is your product. So, like, even so, it's just nice to see it stay intact and them want to continue to do the positive influence that they've been on the market and keep it that way is really, I don't know, just makes me warm inside. That's all.
It does. And I mean, even though Lifeway is definitely, I would say, more of a crunchy company, just because of the whole probiotics and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, though, there's a lot of brands that you are assuming that are family owned that have kind of been like bought up and just they all have to do a press release, but how often do people look at press releases for food companies? Like
Right.
I just recently saw there's I'm going to mispronounce this one too because I always like to do my own southern twang on stuff, but Rayos, the tomato sauce that everybody goes nuts over on social
Yeah,
media.
I think it is Rayos. I thought it was
Rayos,
Rouse, but it's Rayos. Yeah.
they're owned by Campbell Soup. And all over their website, it says, it has people asking, like, are you going to change the formulation? Because that's what happens. Like, part of it when you buy up a company is you're going to try to make it more efficient. You're going to try to save money. You're going to try to use
Yeah.
materials you already have. And it's
Yeah.
usually leads to changes, whether it be like the size of the product, the flavors, da da da. Look at all the crunchy companies like Annie's and all these organic, super healthy companies that get bought out, and now their target market won't even buy them.
Annie's is interesting because when they first got bought, definitely could see like they kind of kept the majority of things. It is
It was a
pricey and
slow change.
yeah, they used to have grass-fed mac and cheese, grass-fed cheese mac and cheese, and the flavor of it was just yeah.
Since when did pasta eat grass?
The cows they make the cheese from did.
Okay.
The
I'm
pasta
telling you,
continued
I
to
am
eat
not on it. I am not on it because my first thought was, I don't feed my pasta anything.
Just little pastas grazing through the pastures. Little
I'm telling
macaroni
you.
pastas.
Oh, I am usually so much smarter than this.
I need to start painting pictures of the thoughts like that come out of your head, like on a canvas. Pasta grazing in a pasture, and then I will mail it to you, and you've got to start putting them up in the background like a patchwork.
I'm
Regardless,
really
so
going to cry.
well, okay, so the grass-fed cheese,
The
mac and
grass-fed
cheese.
cheese. So now we're feeding cheese to grass. Okay. Or what if? Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll keep going. Go ahead and continue with your breakdown. So that went away. Like I haven't been able to find that in a while. And the last time I saw it, it was so absurdly expensive. But I was like, why? Pass. And then it went to just organic and then made with organic pasta. And now the
So
organic
no longer
seems
organic cheese.
I like if it's there, it's one flavor, it's one kind, and then the rest of it is all of the other options with like the garlic parmesan and the aged cheddar and all the different flavors with the pasta, with just the organic pasta. It's
So I am
degraded.
not. So I am not on TikTok, but apparently my Google feed thinks I am because it sends me a lot of stuff that people talk about on TikTok. But apparently there are people that buy gluten-free mac and cheese
Yep.
from, I believe, Kraft, and they keep buying it, and it's just noodles. There's no cheese pack in it. And I think the more absurd part is that Kraft Mac and Cheese keeps responding to these people, telling them there is no production issues. It's like they're not comprehending. And so I don't know why that we've really gone down the rabbit hole on this one. That's all I would say. But yeah. I don't even know what story we're on.
The Lifeway one. Did you know that Lifeway makes a line of organic pudding called It's Pudding?
Can you imagine being in the marketing meeting? Okay, folks, we have a new product. It's called pudding, and we need to think of a name that really sells that it's pudding. What you got?
Guys, I got it. You're never going to believe it. So it just came to me. We should call it It's Pudding. But you have to put an exclamation point on the end, because if you don't, people are going to be like, it's
That's
pudding.
pudding.
It's pudding. Which is
Oh,
evident of itself, but no, not it's pudding. It's pudding.
well, maybe it's the same guy that said, I can't believe it's not butter.
No, that's not butter. I believe it.
You can totally believe that's not butter.
100%, because butter is butter.
No, that's true. I do have a thing for butter. So,
Same.
okay, on to our fourth story, and I'm going to try not to go down weird tangents, I guess. I
Don't Eeyore this one. Just let the fun happen.
Okay. Here we go.
I know. It's okay.
I know. Okay, so wait a minute. Did you say Eeyore this one? Did you just make Eeyore into a verb?
Yes, I did.
I am really slow today. Like, apparently, in order to do a happy show, my brain has to have a 10-second minimum delay. Whew.
Okay, fair.
Okay. Here we go. Fourth story. IHOP is now going to be part of hybrid restaurants with Applebee's. And in case you didn't know, Applebee's and IHOP are owned by the same company. Now, what's interesting here is they're getting ready to open one of these hybrid stores in, once again, another word I'm going to mispronounce, Seguin, Texas. It's supposed to open at the beginning of 2025. The location is about 40 miles northeast of San Antonio and has about 30,000 people. Sounds really tiny for one of these restaurants. But what's really interesting is the CEO of Dine Brands states that they are already working on 15 more sites in the U.S. for these joint IHOP Applebee restaurants. And what's kind of like, the more I read, the more I'm really intrigued, because the plan is these 15 sites are going to be existing IHOPs, and they're going to add in Applebee's to it. And
Correct.
I'm going to have to put a link in the description below, like I always do, but go check out the pictures of these new hybrid restaurants. It literally looks like they chopped an IHOP and an Applebee's in half and squished them together into a weird love child. Okay? Like, the Applebee's side is red and gray. The IHOP side is like bright blue and yellow. They have completely different tables, completely different chairs. Like, it is almost like, I don't know, like, it's almost overwhelming, like, to look at. You know what I mean? Like, it's not,
it's a lot.
It's disruptive on the eyeballs. Like, I don't know how to describe
quite
it.
A fever
like,
dream.
Yeah.
Not
I
quite,
mean,
but getting there. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah.
But so it, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but what's kind of cool is that, so both, even though it looks like two separate restaurants, they're going to have the same shared kitchen. It's not two separate kitchens. And it doesn't matter which side you sit on. You can order from this one huge combined menu of IHOP stuff and Applebee's stuff. And you can order from both any time of the day. And this restaurant will serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is actually pretty amazing, because most restaurants nowadays are either breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner.
Yep. What I want to know is, am I going to be able to get a Bourbon Street steak with some eggs and toast?
I think you'll have to pick a side.
Oh, I don't like it.
So, like, you could, was it IHOP that did the fruity tooty, funky waffle things?
Fruity tooty fresh and fruity.
There you go.
Tooty fresh and fruity.
Why am I not shocked you knew that? And then, like you said, the Bourbon Street steak, with baked potato or whatever.
That's my favorite.
I honestly have not been to an IHOP or an Applebee's in eons. The
Same.
last time I went to an Applebee's, the service was disastrous. The food was, oh my God, awful. And I knew something was up because we had eaten at Applebee's a couple times before, and
Yeah.
I had never guessed at what my food would contain.
Oh, I
Okay.
don't like that. Ugh.
So when you
Pass.
go and you look at a menu, it
Yeah.
gives you a basic description of what you will get. Okay.
Yeah.
And when we went to this Applebee's, I realized really closely that their menu had completely changed. Like I can't even remember what I was wanting to order, but I knew it was gone, so I was like paying really close attention to what all was on there. And I
Yeah.
ordered a salad. And let me tell you, I have never purposely ordered a salad where it is all spinach with the slimiest red peppers, like out of a jar
Uh,
or a can, and
uh,
gigantic slices of raw onion. Like, that was not conveyed on the menu. Like,
yeah.
literally, it never occurred to me. And I remember it was like it was like a lunch special where it was like a soup and a salad combo, and
Yeah.
I had ordered what I believe it said it was like a tomato bisque, but what came out was like cream of tomato. And so what I got didn't make any sense for what was on. You know what I mean? I actually asked for the
Yeah.
menu so I could go back and read it because it was so not what I thought it was going to be. And
Right.
so, like I said, I have not been to an Applebee's since because that was just weird.
A lot of them have closed around here. Like they're, um, I think the only one that I know that exists is back towards our old side of town.
Right.
Um, I think
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
one's
yeah. I
still
know what you're
there.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
yeah,
but
uh,
see, okay, what also gets kind of
we'll
interesting
see.
on is this is not the first hybrid restaurant. They have previously
Ah,
opened 13 of these hybrid restaurants internationally. We're talking about places in Mexico, Canada, um, the, what is that? UAE is that United
the
Arab
United
Emirates? I cannot
Emirates. Yeah,
talk.
there it is. United Arab
Kuwait,
Emirates.
Saudi Arabia, Peru, and Honduras. And who the heck knew that those areas had IHOPs and Applebee's? I did not. And
They do now, at least.
what's crazy is these new like hybrid restaurants have performed so well that they bring on average 1.5 to 2 times the revenue as just a single branded restaurant. So
Huh.
that's a huge difference.
So like the double branded restaurant, it's the concept isn't necessarily new, but I don't know if they're usually successful. You know what I mean? Like we've seen the Taco Bell KFC, and like in that case, like I just need you to do one thing well instead of two things poorly. And I've seen the A&W one with something else. I've seen there was like a
Yeah.
red burrito that I've seen with a Hardee's. I've
But what
seen
you're saying though
Jack's
is
with
all
something else.
fast food. I don't think you
Yeah,
typically see this in more of a sit down restaurant because you're not
right.
going to IHOP or Applebee's and typically ordering to go or doing a
Yeah,
drive
true.
through, you know?
Yeah.
And do you want to sit down and eat dinner while your guest is eating breakfast? Like, does it take the same
Sometimes.
amount of time?
I mean, diners do it all the time. I've done it where
Ah,
we've been
so
to.
maybe this is more of a diner feel that you can get like, comfort foods, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So does that mean you're
Yeah,
going to order bourbon steak and what is it, the Oreo milkshake for breakfast?
man, that'd be a lot. I don't know how I feel about that, but maybe depends on the night you've had.
Are they
And a
going
lot
to
of
play
IHOPs are
Walker
24
Hayes?
hours.
Are they going to play Walker Hayes at 10 a.m.?
Maybe you'll know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I've now got that song in my head. So if you see me like bopping out here, but what's
Well, we may
really
have to. I was going to say maybe we have to go to Seguin, but I'd like to tell you that Seguin, I'm guessing it's Seguin, their slogan for the town is "It's real," and they have an exclamation point. So you know,
the same marketing company from Lifeway went to Siegel. Chicken or the egg?
so,
They're totally related. Is that the theme? Is that the theme that I missed? We're just
it's real.
these are all explanation point articles.
It's
that
coming.
it? Did I win? Oh goodness! But okay, okay. So there's been like an absurd amount of restaurants that have filed for bankruptcy, have closed down, and when they close, they seriously close. Like they auction off like all the equipment in the building. Like Red Lobster announced that they were closing, and within a month, the buildings were completely empty. Like it was just so quick. And it amazes me that there is not all these like vacant restaurants sitting around. And I did a little digging, and it turns out that it is all these restaurants that are going out of business and closing, they're actually getting bought up super quick compared to past years. Because in the past, similar to any kind of retail, once a business closes, people just assume that it closed because of a bad location or, that there's something physically wrong, and it would just sit empty forever. But now all these restaurants that close are getting bought up like as soon as they hit the market. And come to find out, there's a lot of cities that make it very difficult to get commercial zoning. So if you buy a restaurant, it's already been zoned commercial, and it's a whole lot cheaper. And so unlike, the seasonal stores, Spirit Halloween, that kind of take advantage of vacant retail locations. It's amazing to me because there's been this long list of all these closures. And, oh, did you know? I don't know if I told you this. Spirit Halloween, which, another fun fact, they're actually owned by Spencer's Gifts, the tacky store in the mall.
Why did they know that?
You didn't know. You obviously have not been in a Spirit Halloween store. Instead of closing on November 1st, some of them are going to stay open all the way through Christmas, and they will be converted from a Spirit Halloween to a Spirit Christmas. They're going to sell seasonal Christmas stuff, gifts,
Are you
decor, inflatable, No, I'm not. They're not everywhere yet because it's obviously like in its trial run. I believe they're in the Northeast, New York, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. But yeah, first off, I think this is brilliant. Second off, I think that it will be a huge success. And third, I think next year, every Spirit Halloween will be a Spirit Christmas.
That sounds awesome. So I'm silly, excited about this. And so I went and I pulled it up while you were talking. And they're going to do photos with Santa.
Of course.
And they have a free digital postcard that you can send to your kid for them, whether they've been naughty or nice, which is kind of great. But then you bring up the Spencer's thing, and I scrolled through and I found that they have white elephant gifts, which totally makes sense.
Totally.
And all the dots are connected. Right. All the dots are connecting. And then I see that there's a section called Creepmas, which really brings together the Spirit Christmas and Halloween. There are people who keep their 12-foot tall skeleton in their yard and dress them up. Please, yes.
Okay, so I know that, we were, I don't want to say the mall walkers, but our generation, we went to malls. We walked the mall, we went to Spencer's. That's just what you did. And I think there was maybe one or two other stores that were similar to Spencer's, and I can't even remember. because I don't know if they went out of business. But anyway,
Gadzooks, I think, was one.
yeah,
I
something.
think.
I just remember Claire's. But so
Claire's is
anyway,
like accessories.
but I know that people went to Spencer's around Halloween to get their Halloween stuff, because they kind
Right.
of sold it all year round. So it totally makes sense because that's probably like their Black Friday, you know, that they
Yeah.
probably sell so much Halloween stuff in October. Totally makes sense. And it's a brilliant move for them to then do these little pop up shops. And then if you've
Yeah.
already got a pop up shop for 2 months, why not add another 2 months on it and do Christmas? So basically, they do a whole year's worth of stuff in 4 months. And I bet you they make a killing because they don't have to
Oh my
worry
God.
about selling anything from January to July.
Yeah. You're working on stocking for those 4 months and preparing all of your vendors to supply for that time. Like it's why can't I have a job that only runs like
4 months a year.
September to January and then rest of the year is all mine? Like, why is that not a thing? I'm mad now. It's fine.
Well,
It's
I
fine.
I don't know how I got from IHOP, Applebee's, Spirit Christmas Spencer's. Like, I apologize. I don't know if I am overwhelmed or underwhelmed. I'm just
Or
whelmed.
whelmed. I
I'm
was like,
whelmed.
you could just be whelmed. Well, since we're talking about Christmas, can I show you something that my kiddo chose for her advent calendar?
Oh
Like,
no, not another advent
she's
calendar. Did she
we're
did she
those
go with,
people.
with cheese? Pretzels.
No. I want a cheese advent calendar. Is that a thing? I want it. So
Syrup.
why are you doing this to me? Nah. No. But it is hot chocolate.
Wait a minute. So
It's
it's like
actually
different flavors of hot chocolate every day?
we haven't cracked it open yet because
Oh, well,
12
because
days of hot chocolate. But we're kind of
oh, it's one of those. You're the Harry Potter people. Not
I
Harry
like
Potter.
the story. I love some Potters. Clint, Clint bought my book secondhand, read them from the library first. But this guy. So it's a color changing. Like when you stir it, it changes the color when you stir it. I'm sorry, it was
Oh,
behind the
so
wall.
it's magical hot chocolate.
And that's a little wand that you stir your hot chocolate
Oh,
with.
you're gonna stir with a wand. How cool is that?
But I think, yeah, it changes colors. And it looks like they're house colors. They're
Of course, because
red, blue, yellow, and green. I'm not big on things with color in them. Um, but I'm stupid excited because it's every once in a while it's fine. It's fine. She picked it and I had a coupon for it. So it wasn't like crazy expensive, but it was something
you
I
went
knew she would
penny
enjoy.
pinching on the advent.
I love a coupon. I will always look for a coupon. Coupons till I die. There's a blanket I want to buy my friend that I haven't bought because I need a coupon first because that is expensive.
Did you know that you can set up a Google price alert where it will
Yes.
keep track of prices for you and alert you when they go to a certain lowness or highness? That is
This
actually
is
one
a
of my favorite
pottery.
tools.
This is a Pottery Barn blanket.
Oh,
Tis no
goodness.
coupon to be found.
Right.
And if I have to pay full
Oh,
price, I'm going to be so mad. I did find that I did have an offer on one of our credit cards that would give us $20 off, but that was not enough for my taste. So I'm going to wait and see what happens on Black Friday and cross my fingers that I can compound those two things together.
well,
Double
speaking
coupon.
of Black Friday, I believe we are going to skip next week due to Thanksgiving. So I will see you and everyone else back in December when we have more fun food news. Now, I don't necessarily, this was definitely more rosy and unicorny. definitely corny. We'll just have to see how the news falls.
Yeah. We'll try to bring in some sunshininess every once in a while, and but
Right. Mix the
unfortunately,
dark and the light. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
it's where
Okay
the
then.
Pride Lands, where the dark and the light meet.
Did you just quote the Lion King?
Yes, I
Wow.
did.
We have wow. We have hit new levels. That's all I'm gonna say. We have hit new levels. So on that note, I hope you have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. And what is it? Gobble till you wobble, wobble till you gobble. Something like that.
Yeah, gobble till you wobble.
You know,
And no, I'll just
I
gobble
prefer
a
not
little.
to wobble.
That.
Yeah.
Avoid the
Okay
wobbling.
then. I think I need to go to bed because apparently my brain has taken a break. So I will see y'all later. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.